Hello again. I thought I'd give an update on where we are on the property. So we have our plans finalized. There were some changes that we had to do in the plans, not knowing a lot about certain things of construction. We had to kind of make some changes after we received the plans. For instance, the plans came with a 9/12 pitch roof, and after talking with a lot of builders, we realized that 9/12 was an odd and an expensive pitch to build. So the most common build is an 8/12 pitch. So we made that change on the fly. Didn't add too much to it. Our cabinet layouts weren't quite the same, and some of the door layouts weren't exactly the way that we wanted them. But it wasn't anything major that we couldn't overcome. So now we got the plans finalized. We sent them out to supply houses to get takeoffs. So this is when I ran into my first problem. I submitted them to 4 supply houses and I only got responses back from 3. One didn't even call us back. But here's a trick that I've learned that you need to be very aware of when it comes to supply houses. I will show a link in this video of the 3 supply houses that I did get my takeoffs from. 2 of them were very close in cost, while the other one was extremely less, by about $25,000 less. So at first I thought, well, because he was the first one to come back, I thought that his would be probably the bar. So I need to say somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 for my takeoffs. Well, I quickly learned after talking to the other supply houses that they shorted me. This is a trick that I've learned that a lot of supply houses will do, and that is they will give you takeoffs, but they will shortchange you to make the bottom line look a lot cheaper than their competitors. You will, if you don't know what you're looking at, immediately go with them, and then halfway through the process realize that you don't have enough material and you're kind of forced to spend the extra $20,000, $25,000 anyway. So you have to do a true apples to apples comparison of all your takeoffs from your supply houses. For me, my supplies were somewhere close to between $70,000 and $80,000. So after I saw the other 2, they were very much in line with each other. So I just discarded the third one. But had I not known that trick was out there or was aware of it, then I would have been stuck going with the lower bid because, it's $25,000 cheaper. The next thing we did, we went to the brick place to get takeoffs there. So we were able to get the true takeoff numbers for our brick, including the grout for it. We've also completed our sheetrock and shingles. Now, granted, in the takeoffs from the supply house, a lot of those were already quoted. So the sheetrock as well as the shingles were quoted. It was more of a price comparison. If I can get the shingles cheaper somewhere else, then I would just take that out of my takeoff. But they were actually pretty much in line. A lot of contractors will tell you I get a deep discount from supply houses. That's why it's better for you to come to me. But I'm learning now that a lot of discounts that used to apply to contractors just don't apply anymore. There's a lot of owner builders out there, and so the price is pretty much the price. They may see 1.5% discount, but they probably won't pass that on to you. So it was really good that I got all those takeoffs completed. The only one that's left now is the plumbing takeoff, and it's been kind of hard finding a new construction plumber. We found a lot that perform break fix work, but none of them that will do new construction. So we're still in the process of trying to find someone there. We have 3 names that we have acquired, and we will look to try to get them lined up this week. So that's a good thing. Things are really kind of progressing now, especially after we got the plans. We were able to take them out and start putting them out for bid for costs. There are some things that's in the house that we really wanted to have, which is kind of what drove us to do a subcontracting job opposed to a builder job. With the 15 to 25% markup or builder fee that will be included in any kind of turnkey project, we decided to take that money and try to reinvest it back into the property. So, for instance, there's a sliding patio door that we really like. There's a patio screen that we want to kind of enclose it in. There are cabinets and trim work that we really want to try to get from down all the way down to appliances and fixtures for plumbing. So we wanted to make sure we got what we want in the house, but we also had, in reality, an unrealistic budget in the very beginning. Our budget in the very beginning for the house was way too low based off the construction costs as it stands today, plus price per square foot that new construction is going for the area that we're building. So all those factors came into play, and then and we realized quickly that our budget was about $100,000 short than where it really needed to be. So we made the adjustments in our budget to account for those differences. Well, in doing so, our budget rose, of course, to a point to where it almost hit the max that we were willing to pay for the house in the very beginning. So then it became, is this a process of diminishing returns? Can we still get the house that we want and pay within our budget if we hire a builder? So through this process, we have all of our takeoffs. We are fully prepared to go through the process of subcontracting it ourselves, but we also wanted to see what the cost would be for a builder. So a week and a half ago, we made the decision to put it out to bid to 6 different builders. We haven't gotten a cost back yet, but we think that we should have some coming in as late as this week here, by the end of this week. Today is Sunday, so hopefully by the end of Friday, we should be able to have some. Sorry, I got a guy going down the street in a loud truck. So we should have some maybe by Friday of next week, and that'll start giving us some realistic costs for price per square foot for a builder to do it, as well as if it's going to be something that's worthwhile. Because if I can do it within $15,000-$20,000 of my budget, then absolutely I'll let a builder do it, just because. However, we are fully prepared to do it, like I said. So that part is going on right now. The next phase was really getting the property cleared. So I mentioned before in the first video that the property was partially cleared, but the debris was not burned and buried, and the land wasn't scraped. So that was out there. So this is when we ran into a problem. The biggest problem that we ran into, and I'll show some pictures here. The biggest problems that we ran into was the original person who tried to clear for the previous owner just took a bulldozer and knocked down all the trees, all the debris, but he also scooped up all the dirt with it. So he took about 6 inches worth of dirt off of the top of the ground, and he pushed it into 4 piles on the property. Well, I learned that you cannot burn the trees with that dirt in it. So what we had to do is figure out how to just bury it or haul it off. And it was cheaper to bury it. But of course, if you don't burn it, then you run into a problem of it rotting and then causing possible sinkholes or cavities underneath whatever's on top of it. So we wanted to make sure it didn't get where we was going to put the house at. So we went with that option of just burying it. So the contractor came out and took all of that debris, dug some holes along the property lines on either side of us, and that's where he buried that. We don't have any intentions on building anything there. Well, in turn, it brought up a lot of dirt, so we might be able to get a lot of that 6 inches back for the cleared piece of property. I don't know yet, but we're waiting for it to dry out because, as you can see, it's extremely wet. It's holding a lot of water. The property to the south of us, which is my wife's aunt, it slopes hard to our property line at the street. So it just holds a lot of water. It's a natural drain. And so we really want to make sure that we build that property up high enough to where we're no longer the low point, and possibly in a couple of years or so come back and do some kind of culvert or French drain to kind of help that water drain out of there a little better than what it is. So as of right now, the property is totally cleared. There's about 120 or so feet to the rear of the property that's not cleared. So we have a good, nice section to place the house and have enough yard to where we think that we have some room to grow if we want to. So today we went out and we set where we think we want our driveways to go. And now it's just a matter of letting some warmer air kind of dry up some of that land so he can come back in and push that dirt over. And then he will come back and scrape the whole top to make it flat as he possibly can and take all the ruts out and then help it drain and shoot the elevation. And that's where we are now in regards to how much dirt we have to put in. So originally in our budget, we were not planning on bringing in a lot of dirt, but we knew we needed a great deal of dirt. Well, right now I'm budgeting $20,000 worth of dirt, which is a lot just for dirt. So at roughly a $9 a cubic, between $7 and $9 a cubic yard, and a 16 cubic yard truck, that price runs up relatively quick when you're trying to get somewhere close to 200 or so loads of dirt. I need about 3,000 yards is what I'm estimating right now. So I didn't know how to price that out. I didn't know if, did it matter where you get the dirt, or if I could rent a dump truck and drive myself and just pick the dirt up. But I learned, one, you can't rent a dump truck, or at least it's hard to if you can find one, but I haven't had any luck with it. And two, the closer the dirt pit is to your property, a little less the dirt might be, because you're paying mostly for the gas, the truck, and the driver. So if you can get the dirt closer to you, you might save a little bit of money. So one of the goals this week is to try to find a dirt pit close to our house and get a rough estimate on how much it'll cost to get roughly about 230, 240 loads of dirt brought out to our property. We also completed our well and septic test. So this is where things got a little scary, because we were unsure that we were going to pass the perk test. We bought the property without having the perk test completed, which was a little risky, but we were sure that we would pass until we had to submit for it, and it got a little scary. We did pass, however, we can't do a traditional leach field type of septic. We have to do what's called a sprinkler system. Now these things are a little more expensive, not too much, but a little more expensive than the traditional septic tank that you would have on properties with no county or city utilities. But we did learn after we did that test that the utilities actually were ran within to about a quarter of a mile from where we're staying. So where we're building. So what we want to do is we engage the county to see if they had a price that it would cost to bring the utilities down the street that we're living on. We haven't heard back yet, but hopefully we'll hear that back next week. There's a lot of advantages to it and a lot of disadvantages to it. So we really want to see what the cost is there to kind of do some comparison. And I'll kind of keep you up on that as we get a little closer. So as of right now, that's where we are, and I'll keep you guys up to date. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.